Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the 5 or maybe a couple more best lures for dirty water fishing. So please stay tuned, it should be a good one. Okay, we're going to start out today with one of the best dirty water, in my opinion, dirty water lures. And what I mean by dirty waters, we're talking anything from less than a foot. I have a lake around where I live. The visibility is like sometimes less than 6 inches. And there's some big bass in there, and these lures work for me. So, like I said, I'm going to share these with you. Okay, so first one is a black buzzbait, or there's shad in this lake too, so I want to talk about that, or a white buzzbait. Some days they want the black, some days they want the white, but because there's shad in there, the white does profile well in the dirty water, and it resembles the shad that they are eating. Hey guys, if you're liking what you're seeing here, please hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and it just helps bring more content to you guys, keeps me going, lets me know I'm doing a good job. Okay, so the next one is square bill crankbait. Before I go any further, I want to talk about the buzz baits. So if I'm using the buzz bait, for you guys that don't know, a lot of us do know, you got to reel it, it goes across the water, and this skirt's going to flare. You can cover a lot of water. Some of the best things to do is if you're around like dock pilings or something, running into a dock piling, or if there's a stump sticking out of the water, maybe run it into the stump so it, bounces off and comes around. Those are some of the best ways to use this. Sometimes you want to burn it, sometimes they want it burning like real fast. Sometimes I just want a nice steady. But, if you have structure that's sticking out of the water, running into it. Okay. Square bill. Another good one. This is a 2.0 Strike King KVD. I like the Strike King KVDs, the 1.5s, 1.0s, 2.0s. It's a shallow diving crankbait. There's no rattle in it. The way I like to run this is you burn it and get it down in those rocks and stuff and have it bounce off the rocks. Okay. It's got a little bit of a wobble. I wouldn't say a wide wobble. I'm sure there's other ones out there got a wider wobble. But when you dig this down, it's going to deflect and go. You can run it through wood. When you hit the wood, you want to stop. It'll come back up and then bring it over. Me personally, I like running it across rocks because it deflects, and a lot of times when it deflects off a rock, that's when you get your bites. And the vibration. Okay, vibration's key in dirty water. Going with the vibration thing, a black or white double-bladed spinnerbait. This one has a Colorado and an Indiana blade. A lot of vibration. Has that. I like the skirts that have the little extra tentacles coming off. They just flare and it looks like it's swimming. It looks real good. I didn't bring it up, but I have one that's a willow blade, Colorado blade. In that real muddy water, for whatever reason, it's a tandem color, so one's silver, one's gold, and then the white skirting seems to do real well. But this one would do just as probably just as good, if not better, because more vibration. Okay, next on the list, it's a must, a jig. Sometimes them fish aren't going to come up to the surface and bite. Sometimes they're not really looking to chase the crankbait. A big black and blue jig. This is a football style jig. Again, I think this is a boya jig. I run a crawl trailer off the back, sometimes like a beaver style, which is, not a lot of motion. Sometimes I put on a kicking crawl style, I've even threw on paddle tails on the back of these. Just depends on what the fish want, but the jig is a must. It goes down, you want to, the way I fish it is I let it hit the bottom, poof, all that mud and dirt comes up, pops it off, poof. I don't fish it like a normal football jig, which would be dragging it. I kind of snap it off the bottom, let it hit the bottom. Snap it off the bottom, let it hit the bottom. They come unwound for that. Okay, this one's a double one, and then we're going to get into some soft plastics. But you have to have a frog. Some lakes are going to be dirty, they're going to have mats, you need something like a frog. Why I call it a double one? It's a popper frog. A white or a black frog, this one obviously is white, can be very deadly in muddy water. Again, on top of mats, being that this is a popper style frog, near wood, just popping it by the wood, around docks, open water. In muddy water, the light doesn't penetrate as low into the water, so the fish could be just about anywhere. Okay, guys, another one that I like to talk about, and these are my favorite, chatterbait. More in particular, the Mini Max chatterbait. I run a paddle tail Kitech 3-inch ribbed Kitech off the back of my chatterbaits, the Mini Maxes. I've caught a lot of giants doing this. You can run crawls, you can run flukes. Hog Farmer has the spunk shad. That's a real good one. I just haven't had a chance to get a hold of the spunk shads, so I run the Kitechs. Does really well, but they don't hold up very good, I will tell you. It's a fish catching machine, but you better be ready to go through some Kitechs. Okay, guys, now for the soft plastics. I have only 3 of them for you. First one, absolutely deadly. Everybody knows about it. The TRD, Ned TRD, the Z-Man. This is Z-Man yoga pants with a mushroom head on there. The way I work it is I like to let it hit the bottom. It's going to stand up. I pop it off the bottom, let it hit the bottom, pop it off the bottom, hit the bottom. Sometimes I'll even drag it real slow across the bottom, but most of the time I'll pop it, let it hit, let it wait there for a few seconds, pop it. Excellent bait, very durable. Uh, if you've never used Z-Man products, do not mix them with your other plastics. They will melt them. Okay, another one. This is for Texas rig fishermen. Texas rigged. I believe this is the craw fatty. Yep, craw fatty. I Texas rig this. I pop it off the bottom. I let it go down. Sometimes I'll drag them, but most of the time I'm giving it some kind of little pop. Sometimes 2 pops off the bottom on a Texas rig. And a Havoc craw fatties. Excellent lures. Okay. Now another one that doesn't get a lot of attention. Well, it does get too much attention, I think. Gary Yamamoto Sinkos, black and blue. Wacky rigged, Texas style, Texas rigged. Absolutely deadly, but the black and blue. I think the black and blue in the darker water, it just silhouettes better. It, depending on how you do it, the wacky rig will flutter down. Texas rig kind of has slight flutter, but only one side because you're rigging through the front. But they are deadly at the time too when the fish don't want a whole lot of action in the water. And last but not least, guys, because I know this has been a long video, the tube. I destroy fish in muddy water on the tube. I usually just run a regular tube head down through there. So you put it down through there, the jig head goes down in there, and then pop the eye out here in the front. So your hook sets here. Way I like to fish the tube is I'll let it sink and it'll have a spiral downfall, and I will pop it off the bottom and let it go back down. Pop it off the bottom, let it go back down. But you can also swim the tube, you know, put a little action into it. They are absolutely deadly. Another way that I had noticed that I was thinking about, but Matt Stefan at Matt Stefan Fishing had beat me to the idea, was trailing this on a buzzbait. You know, put it up on, take the skirt off a buzzbait, put this on, and running it behind the buzzbait. I mean, guys, there's so many ways you can rig this. You can have the stupid tube, which stupid tube's Texas rig tube. That's going to make this tube glide instead of spiral. You can do the spiral with the regular tube jig. You could probably even rig this. I don't know if I'd rig this size, maybe if you had to fish for it. But you could do a drop shot if you got a big enough drop shot hook on there and just drop shot it. So many ways that you could work the tube. It's an oldie. It's a sleeper. It needs more love. But I would use a white or a black tube in muddy water for sure. Guys, these are my favorite lures to use when you're fishing muddy water. The key is here is having vibration, the color to silhouette, noise. You want something that's going to attract those fish to you. If you're throwing something, even with the jig, you're making a little bit of noise, but you're making a spoof. There's going to be mud. There's going to be a you know, everything else is going to look normal, and then you're going to have like a darker spot. That's going to attract the fish. Um, the neb rig, same thing. You know, you're making noise, you're pouncing off rocks, spitting up little pieces of mud. They think it's a minnow, a bluegill, something down there feeding. They come in to investigate. They find your bait. They bite it. Otherwise, you want to use vibration. Um, I gave you the best lures that I know. I hope this will help you guys catch more fish. Sorry for it being a longer video. Well, if you like it, give me a like. Please hit that subscribe button again, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.